All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our BG5 Live. Great to have all of you here with us today. Today is May 24th, 2022. This is episode 157. And today we're going to take a look at trait 20, being present in the now. And Anna is helping her daughter move, and Linda is not here. So it's just Shelly and myself. And so any of you that are live in the Zoom room, we would love to have you join us as well and participate. So be prepared. And also, if you are live via Facebook, if you want to type in, I would love to have your chat as well. So before we get started, hello, Shelly, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Great to be here and being present in the now. Welcome, everybody. Leanna, I see you made it. Yay. Nice to see you, Vicky and Yannicka.
Great.
Maybe you guys can jump in and chat with us.
Exactly. Great. And we have some more people joining our Zoom room. So if you're live in our Zoom room, please feel free to participate as well. So let's jump in. Again, we are cruising through May, and May is really about getting in the driver's seat of life with unique insights, leading by example, and being in the now. So we're now in being in the now by expressing the art of living enthusiastically. So we started off with the driver in 2 in the direction. We took a look at assimilation in the 23. Last week, we took a look at collaboration. Today, we are going to take a look at contemplation in the now. And then next week, we'll take a look at skills in the 16. So one of the things that you'll notice in contemplation in the now, we took a look at this when we were also taking a look at the background environment last year with the 2034. So the 2034 is activated. One of the things that is interesting about this 2034 is that it also creates definition as well. So you may have a lot of go energy. This is an express builder strength. So you may be experiencing that currently as well. So it's one of the things to be aware of as we take a look at trait 20. Again, we still have the 43 activated as our past and future direction. So again, those unique individual insights. And you'll notice that we also have a lot in currently in 25 as well. Both our personal law and our maturing energy is all in innocence. So, and we still have our crisis in what is hidden, which will continue on for the next 3 years. So interesting, just kind of seeing what's going on in the world. Different people have had different challenges. It's interesting. We just had a snowstorm here in Colorado, which actually broke a lot of tree branches and limbs. And a lot of people were, my mom, for example, didn't have power for the entire day. So again, just dealing with those things as they come up and as they arise. So again, always following your decision-making strategy will help you stay grounded no matter what is happening out in the world and with all of these, all of the craziness of the changing times. Vicky's saying in Australia, they had storms there too. Did you have storms also?
And we did. We had a huge windstorm. It was going like 90 kilometers an hour. And we lost our power for about 24 hours for a full day.
Wow.
And it made me really, what I was really interested in was how dependent we are on our power and how there was almost nothing we can do anymore when there's no power. So everything I thought to do while there was no power, oh, I could do this. No, I can't. It was really, really interesting to contemplate just how digital, electronic, and connected we are virtually. Yeah, so it was a great day for a nap. I had a nap.
Exactly. And it also helps you be very present in the now. Oftentimes we have all of these distractions, right? Especially electrically, whether it be our Facebook or our computer or social media or this or that or the other thing, television. We have a lot of distractions nowadays. And so sometimes it's good to just get back to the basics and take a look at, that contemplation in the now. What do you do when we don't have the power turned on? So again, very Uh, Very interesting that I think it happened right around when we moved into the 2034 as well, which is also quite fascinating. At least here in Colorado, is when the power went out when we were in the 2034. So again, forcing that contemplation in the now. So let's take a look at today's theme. Again, we are in trait 20, and again, trait 20 is contemplation. It's contemplation in the now. One of the things that's interesting about all of the traits that we have been experiencing this month is that they have all been expression, and they've all been expression through the individual circuitry, meaning that it's individual expression that we've taken a look at. We took a look at the 23, we took a look at the 8, we're now taking a look at the 20. We have in the last few weeks, it's been all about individual expression. So when we take a look at trait 20, this is recognition and awareness in the now, which transforms understanding into right action. One of the things is as we move from the era of planning into the era of the individual, this becomes a part of what the pattern is all about. We've been in growth. We've been in currently in the illusion and delusion of what's true and what's not true. In the contemplation in the now, it is this awareness in the now, which can transform understanding into right action by being really present in what needs to happen here and now. And contemplation is purely existential, and it's the potential for evolutionary change. Again, it's individual. The individual is all about mutation and change. And this potential for evolutionary change is hidden in every moment of existence. It's one of the things about the individual circuitry, and especially as we move into the era of the individual, it seems like it's not there, it's not there, it's not there, it's not there from moment to moment. And then in any given moment, boom, things can change, mutation can happen, change can happen. So it's paying attention to, and it can not only be, and it can be an evolutionary change. So it can be a jump in consciousness. It can be a jump in awareness. It can be a jump in how you communicate. It can be this evolutionary change where it seems like nothing's happening, and then boom, all of a sudden something happens. And it gives voice to the intuitive insights. It recognizes the needed behaviors and a commitment to higher principles and manifesting unique self through action. So it is one of the traits of the integration circuitry, and it's also part of the knowing circuitry as well. This is one trait that has, in a sense, multiple expressions. It has multiple connections. It can connect to identity and direction. It can connect to the behavior of self. It can connect to the 57 of our intuitive insights. So have our intuitive insights in the now, and it can also connect to the 34, which is power, our personal power, and connect to our personal power in the now. So it gives voice to our power. It gives voice to our self. It gives voice to our intuition, right? Because the trait 20 is connected to communication and action. And you often see when you're not looking or hear when you're not listening. So one of the things about the 20 is very acoustic. So again, it feels like it's not there, it's not there, it's not there. And almost if you try to force it, if you force yourself to see things or force yourself to hear things, you can't hear or see things that may be right in front of your face, right? Maybe you're right there. But when you hear when not listening, it's in a sense being able to relax, being able to allow it to just filter in versus trying to push or force it in any way. Right. Just like what we were talking about with the electricity, if you don't have electricity, you're forced in a sense to just listen and just be. And hear when you're not listening. There's nothing to listen to. So what do you hear? So it's really paying attention to and hearing when you're not listening. And simply by living and working as your unique self, you become a living example who can influence or empower others and experience and share their unique expression as well. So one of the things about the 20, this is one of the leadership traits as well. And this is a leadership trait of individual leadership. This is leading by example. This is being your own individual, and connected to those higher principles, right? What is really worth communicating about? What is really worth experiencing and being and paying attention to? The 20 really allows us to focus on what is most important in the now. So given that, Shelley, I would love to hear your experience of the 20. I know neither of us have the 20, so we experience it by viewing what's outside of us. I would love to hear, especially if Jenica or Leanna or Vicky, if if any of you have the 20, would love to hear your experience as well. Let's start with Shelley.
Yeah, this is really great because what I realized is when the power was out, the first thing that happened was I realized how tired I was, how busy I had been. And when, like you said, when the energy is not there, when the power was out, I had time to rest and time to relax. And it wasn't until I had a nap that I woke up and realized, oh yeah, I forgot this is what it's like to just be. This is what it's like to just relax and let life bring the next thing to me that I can respond to. So it did help me touch base with that inside myself again. And then the other thing I've noticed is just this week, I wondered why I was being so darn efficient and getting so much stuff done. Like a total power day yesterday that was on fire and did way more things than I normally do in a day. So that felt really great to get a bunch of things off my list. So for me, not having this strength though, and I was just saying to Karen, it's my brother's birthday today, and this is a strength for him. It's what makes him an express builder, and so it's also the strength of charisma, which he definitely has always had. So it's been fascinating because in my family there are 3 express builders, and 3 of us are classic builders, and then our father was an advisor. So I did kind of learn from having express builders around me that to hurry up and get things done. You're going too slow as a classic builder, and I believe this was conditioned in me. And I had no real awareness of it. I was just trying to keep up with everybody else. So having the awareness of how this strength works, and as this being open for me, it's something that I've always had a challenge tapping into as my own personal power. So it's great to feel this strength activated in this week, because I do feel really personally powerful in the last few days. So it's wonderful to get to experience it. And when it's not there, when it's open, it can be a bit of a shadow and or wisdom for me, and that I can see it in other people. I can see how charismatic some people are. I can tell who's being authentic or not, and being themselves and really expressing who they are. And I really feel the energy of it if somebody is trying to pretend to be somebody that they're not. It jumps out at me right away. It makes me really uncomfortable. I don't want to be around them. And to me, it feels like I can't trust them because they're not really being themselves. And I think that's also part of my open identity and direction. But this 2034 is something I definitely feel as well.
Yes. Yeah. Really great example, Shelley. Thank you so much. And Jenica, I'm going to unmute you as well. I know you just posted something. I was wondering if you would like to share that as well.
Yeah, sure. So yeah, I have the 10, the 34, and the 57, and so I'm constantly dreaming of having the 20. I'm very jealous, I'll admit it, of anyone that has it, which is, it's pretty funny because 3 of my 4 biological kids have it, and then actually one of my step kids has it, and so they all have the 2034, and I see the difference in the power that they have. Oh, I said that wrong. In the moment, like the things that they can get done. And it's like once they say they're going to do something, they just do it. It's like it's going to happen, it's going to get done. Where I'm like, oh, like, yeah, this is awesome, I can get it done. But unless that 20 is in the transits, I could take forever to do something. So I don't know what it is about that. I love it. I love the experience of it. And I know the difference. Like this week has been really great for me. It's been activated for a while, but this week for some reason things have been really great for me, and I've been feeling it in getting things done. Like I feel so energized and alive, and I'm like, oh, can it stay? But it's so different. Like when it was in the nodes, I didn't have the same impact.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that if you
Yeah.
experienced that.
No, it actually, when it's in the nodes, it's like a distraction to me. Like I get in the moment and I can't get out of the moment. Like I don't want to go do the things I'm supposed to be doing. I just want to stay in the moment. And I noticed this, I was charting my daily activities and the daily thoughts, and then finally looking at it from a deeper perspective from the transits and everything. And I was like, oh, this has got to be it. And because I've been doing this for years, this charting, and it's got to be that. I think I have no proof, but I'm pretty sure it's it. So I'm like, oh, can we just stay in the 20 in the sun? That would be awesome.
It's really great to recognize. One of the things we talk about in BG5 too is how to take advantage of conditioning, as we get conditioned by all kinds of things, the people that we're in, small groups, large groups, what's happening with all of the different life aspects and the transits and everything else. And so being able to recognize when something is in a particular trait that you don't have, that in a sense you can take advantage of that energy while it's there. And it sounds like you're currently doing that, Janica. I love it. Beautiful. Thank you so much for sharing. And Leanna, I'm just wondering for you if there's anything that you recognize or notice, or Vicky as well.
Morning.
Hello.
Or afternoon. I'm probably just more listening in on this one because I was just chatting with my girlfriend yesterday. She's got it. We work together. So obviously she's an express builder. I guess what I was sort of feeling was hearing when you're not listening. And I notice, I just love that across the board for anyone. Because obviously I'll be impacted by this as well. But no, I'm not feeling any activation on this one. I'm just really enjoying listening to people sharing. I feel like I feel right now I'm feeling like I'm being activated by listening to the wisdom of others, sharing. And normally I do like to share quite a bit, but I'm actually feeling I'm getting more from listening.
Yeah. Hearing when you're not listening as well.
Yeah. I
love it. Yeah, thank you, Leanna.
Pleasure. Love being here. Thanks, ladies.
Yay. And Vicky, especially in being an evaluator, I'm just curious how you experience the 20, and especially since it also creates definition. The 2034 creates definition in your design regardless, because it creates definition in and of itself. I'm wondering, as an evaluator, how you experience this 2434.
Very
and
much,
especially the 20.
As Shelley described. I was thoroughly enjoying the productivity, and I've been up half the night to be on calls with you guys, so it's really good to have that energy and the productivity that comes with it. But the guy I sit next to at work actually has this channel. It's in his conscious grounding is the 20. So he is the embodiment of living and working as his unique self, and being a really good example that you can point to and go, be more like him. He's got that self-empowered confidence, and yeah, it's just really a beautiful combination of traits.
Yeah.
And on
Yeah.
a side note, he has a hearing aid, which I think ties into the sort of listening but not listening. So his insights are always so insightful, but you never know if he's got his hearing aid turned on or not.
Oh, interesting. Oh, very interesting. Well, thank you for sharing that, Vicki. Beautiful. All right. So now that we've explored the 20, let's take a look at, and it looks like none of us have the 20, but let's take a look at how you're affected when you're connected. So the shadow of the 20, and if you don't have trait 20. And so, as I mentioned earlier, there are several ways in which the 20 can connect. It can connect to the 10 here, personal behavior. This creates the strength of higher principles. It can connect from the 34 to the 20 and create that strength of charisma. And it also can go from the 57 to the 20 with the strength of, now I'm forgetting what the strength is. It just left my mind.
I'm trying to remember too.
I know.
Is it inner knowing? No, what is it called?
Well, it's intuitive
I'll look
knowing.
it up.
It's intuitive knowing in the now.
Yeah.
But for some reason, I just totally blanked out what the strength happens to be. However, if we're taking a look at the shadow of the 20, because it can connect to so many different things, it's the lack of contemplation or the lack of expression. So the lack of contemplation in the now to know how to express your behavior, the 10, your energy in the 34, or your intuition with the 57. So if you have any of those traits, again, if you have trait 10, if you have trait 34, if you have trait 57, or a combination of them, it is the brainwave, but in BG5 we call it something different, and I still can't remember off the top of my head.
I'm looking it up.
So spontaneity, there we go. Spontaneity, of course. Thank you, Vicki. Not being present to the spontaneity this is the shadow of it. I don't have the 20. I do have the 57, however. So it is, again, the lack of contemplation in the now to know how to express your behavior, energy, or intuition. So the questions are you always thinking about the future? Are you thinking about the past, but you're not present to what's happening in the here and the now? And it could be that your timing is off, and your timing is off specifically in expression. So expressing yourself too soon or too late because you're not present to what's really happening in the moment. And so your timing is off in expressing or communicating. So the problem is that, again, you're not present to what's happening in the now, right? You're not connected to that 20. And since you're not present in the now, you may find that your timing is off with your power, with your intuition, with even expressing yourself and your own behavior. The solution, and also, again, the solution is connecting with others, right? So working with others can help you express yourself more clearly in the present moment. And others can help you be present and recognize your behavior in the now, and your generative personal power in the now, and your intuitive knowing in the now as well. So as far as the shadow goes in the 20, I'm just curious, Shelley, I know you don't have it. And if there's anyone else also who does not have the 20, but you, especially if you have the 10 or the 34 or the 57, would love to hear your experience.
Yeah, this is really great to kind of look at this. And it's been part of my recognizing my open communication and action. I only have trait 45 defined there. So when I first started learning about BG5, this really helped me to recognize that my natural state is silence and listening. And I find that I can be more present when I am just focused on listening to what's going on around me. And I have to say that focusing on the now has always been very challenging for me. Open inspiration, I have the imagination, strength defined. So I'm often imagining what's going to happen in the future or thinking about what happened in the past and really focusing on being present. This can be really challenging for me. So that's why this week it was so nice to have this really focused energy to really just get down to business and do things. Understanding and knowing how to just connect with my emotional clarity decision-making strategy, though, has really helped me feel my way through when is the correct time to speak. And often I do like to listen a lot first, because when I listen, a bunch of things connect for me, and then I can feel that I have something to say. But that was a really great thing that I've learned how to do just from practicing with BG5. I feel much more comfortable now, recognizing when my timing is on because of how I feel about what I'm about to say or whether I can speak or not. Behavior, recognizing how to behave properly in any given situation. I've always struggled with that. What do I do here? How should I be like that? So I'm very open and flexible, and I'll just try things. But often if I'm in a new space or a new crowd, I think it's part of why I'm really leery about being in online social media, because I don't know what the behavior is meant to be. I don't know what the climate or the culture is. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to say or not. So I think that stops me from enjoying being in those spaces. The intuitive knowing in the now, I seem to connect with that a little bit easier. And my own personal energy, because that sacral is defined for me as a builder. I'm really tap into my energy response and my emotional clarity, and that's really what's really helped me with not having these traits and strengths.
Yeah, really great examples. I can so relate to what you just said. Oh my goodness. Yep. Not knowing how to behave in any situation. Exactly. I can relate to that. Beautiful.
Makes
And
feel
yes,
like,
yeah, go ahead.
makes you feel like a little bit of a nerd sometimes. I'm not quite sure. A little bit awkward here. So
Yep, exactly. Yes, Jenica.
I would say a lot bit awkward is how I feel. Like, I definitely experience that, not knowing how to behave or what to do. And so I do hold back. I sit back and I observe and I watch and I listen, and I get enjoyment out of that. But it's definitely, I feel like I get stuck in the now, in the moment, and it's not even thinking forward or thinking backwards, past or future. It's just I like get stuck there in all of the experience of what's going on, intuitively, and in the behavior of the people around me. So I just start observing everything, and even myself. And so, yeah, I've been called out on that many times, especially at different corporate events or networking events or group get-togethers or whatever, just because I'll find my way to the wall and just watch and observe and not necessarily engage. Whereas like when we're in the 20 in the sun, I will engage. So that's how I don't know how come I don't know how come it is like that, but I think from a speaking standpoint, I do better with knowing when to say what I need to say, even though I'm probably more hesitant than what people tell me to be or think I should be. But I wonder if that's just, the 12, the gate of caution, if that's just my activation in that. But my partner gets very frustrated with me because I will stay in the now and I won't think forward or think to the past. To me, the past is gone. Why do I need to worry about it? And the future, I don't know what's happening with the future. So it's like being a child. It could be my innocence motivation and but it's like I'm a child. I'm in this moment of just living life. And it was interesting. I was in a group the other day. We were talking about human design and a bunch of newbies like me. And they said, "Oh, you must have the 2034 and da 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 da." I'm like, nope. just the rest of them, the 10, 57, 34, but the 34 for me is in Neptune. And so I don't always feel that power, that activation or anything.
Yeah, it's what's hidden.
It's what's hidden. But the 57 and the 10, oh yeah, those are big for me. And I really do feel them come alive when that transit's in place. And the shadow is the behavior piece, but I think the intuitive one is pretty good. I don't feel the shadow of that, but I do feel the shadow of the behavior and not knowing how to behave and when to move forward, and instead I hide.
Yeah, really great examples. Yeah, really playing out what this shadow looks like, and especially having all three of those traits. It's probably something that, again, you can be also very conditioned by, but on the other side of it, it's also a place where you can have really deep wisdom as well. So you're really a deep wisdom in what it is also to be present in the now as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful. All right. Is there anyone else who would like to share either about having trait 20 or the shadow of 20? Yes, Leanna.
I was loving just listening to that. I was thinking about two things when I was just listening around how wonderful the more we start to learn about this and we bring it into our teams and our workspaces and our conferencing spaces, that when someone's in the corner contemplating, has found their place in the wall, next to the wall, in their organic and natural movement of self, that instead, because usually at those things, right, what do? They want participation, they want everyone to speak, they want to homogenize, right? Condition. Now imagine if I just had that view of the future, because I do live in the future, of in the future someone turning to that person, right, and saying, what are you contemplating right now here? Or we love that you're doing that, like that encouragement, that recognition, that honoring the right place, that that individuals will place themselves in the right place.
Yeah.
So I hate that homogenization, like that's a killer for me. So I love that. I love that example, because I had a sensory feeling when I was just listening to all the times I've been in places where people had this intention for the group, and then that we all had to kind of play a role in that to follow along in their intention. But that's probably why I love Gestalt therapy and psychotherapy, and love that I got into that avenue, because it was about following your body, being in the moment. And I live in the future. And here's a great example. I love what Shelley said. How beautiful to say, it's like this awkward, I have no idea how to show up here. And I've just had that experience in moving into a new team, doing some work, a little bit of contract work in Web3, which is, on the blockchain in this new space. And so it's new to me. So I missed the cues, and I actually missed cues. So now what's happening is I'm having to go back and have these conversations that I couldn't have before, because even though I was tracking it, I was sort of like stuck or numb, or just not even stuck and numb, but you could feel like that. It was more exactly what the ladies were saying: collecting, observing, processing, but I wasn't really activating my voice or activating any sharing around what I was picking up. And unfortunately for me, in the situation that I've been in, it kind of has gone a bit pear-shaped. So now I have to go back and clean up. So not my favorite, but it's really highlighted for me that I live in the future, and that this piece can get missed for me. And what's my strategy? Checking in with my builders, my colleagues who have this, and even if they're not in the new the situation. They don't have to be, because if they're connected to me, I just share with them a little bit about what's going on for me. They ask me the right questions, or they, tell me how it makes them feel. And then they're actually the ones that helped me. And I didn't realize this till now. They've got this trait, they've got the 20. They helped me put markers on a map to contemplate. That's literally what they did. Like, they'd ask me things like, so what's happening here? And so they would get me to put a marker in the now. And that helped me map my journey. But now, because I've had it, my inner knowing kicks in. So now I'll never not know now going forward. So that's one thing I want to add as well, that once we do have the experience in the new space, in the new environment, I imagine that we do get the knowing, and we will always be able to lean on that going forward. This will never happen to me again in this way, because I don't think we have to keep doing it necessarily over and over again. I think it's when it's a new environment. But yeah. So this is crazy because we're just talking about this,
Yes.
So
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, of course we were, because it's online.
Right.
So, yeah.
Exactly.
Thanks.
And you bring up some really good points. Again, being able to recognize each individual and how they process information, and if they need to just be on the outskirts and kind of listen in to kind of figure out how the whole group and how the whole thing operates, being able to honor where everyone is at. And also, when this is a shadow, again, these things can happen. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong. Again, this is part of the wisdom. Part of how you gain wisdom is by making mistakes. And sometimes, you make mistakes. Your timing isn't on when you are communicating. Something's off, and then you're like, But if you look at it from the wisdom perspective, there's something that you've learned. There's insight that you've gained. Now, as you said, Leanna, so that you don't have to repeat that same thing over and over. Once you've learned, in a sense, you can become more wise about it than someone who that's just naturally what they do. You have the ability to see it in a broader perspective when it's not defined. So utilizing that wisdom, if you can get to the wisdom, because you can also, it could go the other way, that it's a shadow and you're like, oh, I'm never even gonna, do the, like, completely shut down or completely go away, or, oh, this isn't correct. This whole environment is wrong. Make up all kinds of stories about you or the people in it, and and then it can turn into a downward spiral, versus, oh wow, look at what happened here, and what did I learn about it, and in learning about it, what can I bring to the next interaction, what can I bring to the next piece, where can I be a little bit more present in the now, even though it doesn't come naturally to me, because I'm more in the future versus in the present, and recognizing that based on your design, you may have more of a focus in the past, or more of a focus in the future. You may not have the focus in the now, and that sometimes being focused and present in the now can sometimes be difficult, especially if you don't have it defined. But again, it's always a learning opportunity. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you, Leanna. Love that. Excellent. So if you are curious, if you have trait 20 in your design, again, you can download a free personalized chart from the BG5 Business Institute website. You can also take a look at our BG5 Live. It shows you what traits are happening every day. So we have an email that you can receive every day to see what the trait is that's influencing you. You can also watch past episodes of our BG5 Live in the resource library. And again, classes just started. I just started class 2 of my BG5 Foundation course. There's still an opportunity to join. If you want to join in, would love to have you be a part of the class. Our next classes are going to be starting in September. So we start classes in January, May, and September. And so would love to have you join us for one of the BG5 courses. All right, let's wrap everything up. And what I'd like to do and what I'd like to hear from each of our panelists is, what are things that you personally are going to be paying attention to this week? Or what should others personally pay attention to this week in having the 20 activated, right? Being present in the now. But with the 20, again, it also creates that strength of charisma. So you get 2 for 1. You also get a strength as well. So you get the strength of charisma as well. So what to be aware of, pay attention, learn from, and you can do that on a personal way, what you're going to pay attention to, or what you would recommend for others as well. Would you like to start, Jenica?
What do I want to focus on with those? Is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's interesting. This was so good for me. I almost didn't attend because I'm in the middle of a bunch of deadlines. And I thought, no, I need to. So I did. And I'm so thankful I did, because it brought some more awareness to especially hearing talk about the shadow. And feeling like the way I felt about it is that I am living the shadow in the extreme of just being locked in the moment, right? So it's almost that contrast of the extremes that can happen. I think is how I'm trying to explain it. Like an open spleen, they fear everything or fear nothing kind of thing. I'm wondering if that's how I experience that shadow. And so to bring more of awareness in the moment, with others, small groups. Like I will be starting this in 2 weeks, doing a whole bunch of conventions and doing a lot of human design work, luckily and excitingly, and also coaching and talking and being in front of people and being at networking events. None of them are my forte. So this is going to be a good awareness for me to not stand awkwardly in the corner, but to seize the moment.
Right. Or stand awkwardly in the corner for the moments that you need to, so that you can kind of get a read on everything. Yes.
I think it's that movement forward that needs to happen. So I'm really appreciative for this class. That was really good for me to hear, and hearing myself say it out was like, oh yeah.
Exactly. Beautiful. Thank you so much for your participation and for your sharing as well. It's really, really rich. Thank you so much, Jenica, for joining us. Yes. And how about for you, Vicki?
I'm just thinking how, as an evaluator, the transit activations are, how to put it, cleaner and purer forms of the energy. And it's really nice to be able to feel that energy, to be able to then recognize it in others, and to be able to compare and contrast when people are being self-empowered in the now and really living the true strength of this channel.
I love it. Yeah, beautiful. Thank you so much, Vicki. And Leanna.
Yes. Let me think. For me, it would definitely be having an awareness of, if you've got it, if people that you work with, like finding key people around you in your environment who do have the activations that you can lean on again and again. So now I know who I need to call that can help me, or even when they point out things, like, so that it's about knowing what people have, like knowing other people's chart closest to you. Because now when my girlfriends, sorry, am I here? Sorry, someone tried to call me. Okay.
Yes.
When someone is asking me these poignant questions in the here and the now, I'm going to be more, I'm going to really feel the weight and the value that they can offer me. Right. So yeah, so my takeaway is just knowing, go look for who's got this, know people around you who you feel are supportive, you know, and aligned with you enough that you can use their gifts as well.
Really beautiful. Thank you, Leanna. And Shelley.
Wow, I just love each of the perspectives that you each brought today. Deepened my understanding of this whole section, not only the 20, but the 57, 10, and 34 as well. And I love what you mentioned, Leanna, about allowing people to just be themselves. That's what BG5 is really all about, and about being kind to yourself when you recognize that you may not have these traits or strengths, and it may feel awkward in places, but to now just be aware that it's okay. You don't need to pressure yourself to jump in and do what everyone else is doing. You can be yourself in those situations and be a wallflower for as long as you need to get a gauge on the environment and what's happening around you, and contemplating what's going on in the now, and really paying attention to your decision-making strategy to know when it feels right to make the next move, take the next step, to engage. And Leanna, by finding or noticing or recognizing maybe in that time that you're contemplating, checking out to see who likely has this trait, even if you don't know their chart, you can likely see this in people's behavior. The charismatic person who's got the 2034 will stand out in a crowd for sure. And if you really want to take advantage of their energy, not being afraid to approach them or be in their presence, and soak in the energy they can provide for you. And like you said, Vicky, being able to really recognize it and then sense it, feel it for yourself, what that feels like, instead of maybe perhaps being intimidated by it if you didn't have it and were maybe a little fearful of that strong energy. So yeah, I love what everyone said. It's everything about BG5 is really about building awareness. There's no right or wrong, good or bad. It's just being aware of who we are and who others are, and how we all interact together and how we can help each other.
Yes, exactly. Very beautifully said, Shelley. Wow. Well, amazing session of our BG5 Live. I so appreciate each and every one of you who jumped in and was a part of today's session. And it was very, very, very rich. So thank you. And thank you everyone who is joined us live via Facebook and is listening to the recording via YouTube or on our website. It's always an absolute pleasure, and look forward to seeing you all next week. All right, everyone. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you. Bye.